Hey, welcome back to Collateral Duty. This is a place where first responders can kick back, talk about the job, and everything in between. Whether it's stories from the field, the ups and downs of the work, or just the random thoughts that pop into our heads, we're here to have real conversations. So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's chat. Welcome back. For my next episode, I have with me today my son, Logan. He is going to talk a little bit today about his experience in the military and now as a law enforcement officer, first responder. So if you're listening to this at 2 o'clock in the morning, running on caffeine, sheer willpower, this is probably the episode for you. Otherwise, if you're working 12-hour plus shift, this is probably a good episode for you. So Logan, having your experience in the military, your time in the military, and now being on night shift, working those long hours as a deputy, I think you know a thing or two about sleep deprivation. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you have to, a little bit about what we're going to talk about today.
What's up? My name is Logan. I was infantry in the Army for 3.5 years, 6 months basic. And I've been with the Sheriff's Office out of the academy for about 7 months now with the 6-month academy. The military definitely has you sleep deprived.
Yeah.
A lot. With 24-hour shifts, being out in the field for weeks at a time, and I never saw any combat, but I was deployed to Korea twice and then NTC out in California, which definitely put us in that mindset of
being on high alert.
Yeah, being on high alert.
Yeah. And just the sheer training aspect, putting you through your basic training too. I'm certain there's a part of that, an element in that's training your body to be able to pull those long shifts and training you to be alert while you're deprived of sleep as well.
When I first got to basic, we had 3 days with no sleep, and it got to the point where some people were hallucinating.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, we definitely had those field exercises where we were getting 2 hours of sleep a night and then having to wake up in 12 miles, and that your body's not used to that unless you've been doing it for years.
That's a crazy life.
Yeah.
And you got to think too, everyone's threshold is a little different. I might be able to function only on 4 hours of sleep, but you might need 6 to really be able to maintain like a focus over a long shift. And I'm certain you, having been through that training for how long and having to pull those 24 hours, your threshold is probably a little lower than mine. I have to have 8 hours of sleep. Like I don't function well at all.
I remember like when I first came out of basic, I was getting 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night. And then now I usually get around 5.
Yeah.
5 to 6 hours, maybe if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's before, I was sleeping 12, 13 hours a night. But now it's definitely gone down a drastic amount. So.
Yeah. Dang, that's crazy. So now I've introduced Logan. He's got definitely some experience with sleep deprivation and dealing with that. And so I guess let's just get into it. I know some quick facts for you. Chronic sleep deprivation increases the risk of heart disease, memory loss, and mental health struggles. And for military, I'm sure that a lot, and especially as a law enforcement officer, you see the people that have to work the overtime and the people that have to put in the extra time. Or I don't know if in your time you had other soldiers that had a second job because they just had to support their families, but seeing the struggle that some of those people go through just pulling those long hours, and you just know it's really getting to them. Obviously, we don't know about the heart disease stuff unless it's an issue, but the mental health aspect is definitely there.
Yeah, and you can see it on their face.
Oh, yeah.
They come into work 1 week ago and they're fine. And then they come in today and they just look tired and defeated and drawn out, and they're not acting normal. They're not performing their tasks the right way. It's an obvious sign.
Yeah, we joke about it. Now you know how it feels having those 3-day on shifts. Those are the worst.
Sundays,
Yeah.
by the end of Sunday, you're not thinking straight. It's not fun.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah. I remember just being on shift and waking up that Sunday shift and just being like, all right, it's the last one, it's the last one, it's the last one. And I got a couple of days off and I can like actually get a normal night of sleep or night or day or whatever worth of sleep. But yeah, so yeah, chronic sleep deprivation or not being able to sleep over a long period of time obviously it takes a toll on your body for sure and your health and everything else. And memory loss, I know I said that, but I was just thinking about that, when I got promoted to sergeant, I think, what was that, 2017, something like that? Between 2017 and 2020, everything was great. Like, I remembered, I didn't really have to write anything down. I remembered everything that everybody needed from me and all the tasks that I needed to do and everything. But as we got into 2020, we're talking 3 years later, the shifts just seemed to get longer and longer. And especially when all the like COVID changes happened and everything, my memory was shot. Like there was a definite like point where I was like, I can't do this shift work and I need to have a normal schedule because I got to a point where I had to write things down. A deputy would tell me something and I'm like, all right, I got you. And then 20 minutes later, it's gone. Like I do not remember. And luckily enough, like I had done my time on shift. So I was able to put in a request for transfer and I was able to move to Monday through Friday at that point. And Monday through Friday has its perks, but it also has its struggles too. Like
5 days straight.
But it's taking care of like business. That's the thing for me. Luckily you guys are grown, so I don't have to worry about like school appointments and things like that, or doctor's appointments for y'all. For myself, dentist, doctor, if I have to pay a bill but banking business, they keep bankers hours. What can I do? I have to use my PTO, but getting stuff done at the house, that's where the sleep part comes in for me. Remember when we were building the fence and I think I got off work on a Friday night or something, or on a Friday morning or a Saturday morning, I can't remember now, and we ended up just starting the fence as soon as I got there, and I just worked through and ended up having to take the next day off anyway because I was just exhausted because I didn't sleep. But that's how it works when you're on night shift, unfortunately. So a couple other things that I wanted to just share and mention is just what happens to the brain and your body when you don't have enough sleep. And we've probably both experienced just slowing down of your mental capacity. And that kind of just goes back to what I was saying with your memory. You don't get enough sleep, you're not well rested, you feel more tired than you actually are. But then you forget things, just the small things you shouldn't forget.
Going back to the 3-day time periods where we work, that Friday through Sunday, there's been Sundays where somebody's looked at me and been like, hey, can you do this? And I have to be like, tell me 3 more times. I have no idea what you just said. But yeah, I normally get home and I'm asleep by maybe hour and a half, 2 hours after I get home. But there's also been days where I get home after a shift and I just crash.
Yeah.
And like I said, I get about 5 hours of sleep every day, every work day. And it really does it takes everything out of you, not getting enough sleep and having to continue moving, especially for us, when you're a roamer, having to get up and you're constantly moving for 12 hours straight.
Yeah.
And I used to roam all night because I despised control rooms.
Yeah, I get that.
So I used to be like, I call the control room and be like, hey, do you mind if I just stay down all night? Yeah, sure, go ahead. Okay. And then I roam for 12 hours. So it's just 12 hours of nonstop movement.
Yeah.
Helping inmates with something and then doing the rounds, grabbing trays.
Just staying busy.
And even on, like, when I trained on day shift, it was still the same thing. When I got home, there was nothing left.
Yeah.
The sleep deprivation, and yes, you have 12 hours between shifts, but you have things outside of work that you have to take care of.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just get home, for the most part, you can't just get home and go lay down and go to bed. For me, I got 3 dogs I gotta have to take care of. I got the apartment. I have to eat something. So yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing is the sleep debt myth. Like I remember you being in, I don't know, middle school, high school, and like on Saturdays or Sundays, you'd be like, I'm going to sleep because I haven't slept all week between football or whatever you were doing during the week and all that, and then school. But I'd always try to tell you, like, it doesn't work that way. Like, you can't bank sleep.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't sleep one summer. I'm still catching up.
No, and I definitely know, like, even just this last go round being on night shift when I just got promoted a year ago, I would try to bank sleep. Even though I knew, and I know that doesn't actually work in your brain and in your body in that moment. You're like, no.
If I could just get a good 36 hours of straight sleep, no interruptions, I'll be good for the next year.
And it just doesn't ever work out that way. You can sleep for 12 hours and still be tired. You got to have that like constant routine, or at least not have a short sleep more often than not. And then stress and trauma affecting sleep patterns. And I don't know if you have any experiences with dealing with a traumatic event or a stressful event, and then how that maybe affected your ability to sleep or anything. But I know I've definitely had moments, not just in law enforcement, but raising you kids, dealing with your dad being deployed, stuff like that, where I definitely just could not sleep, or my sleep was just interrupted.
Yeah.
And that was just horrible. Just trying to figure out, like, how can I make this work? How can I find a better routine? But definitely affected me.
Yeah, I've told you the story of what happened in basic when my buddy got shot.
Oh, yeah.
That I wouldn't say it was traumatic to me personally, but it was definitely stressful. I knew we were going back to the range the next day, and in my head I was like, I'm going to the range with the same person that just shot this dude. It was an accident, yeah, however it still happened. He didn't do his responsibility in clearing the weapon, and now I got to go to the range with him. I sat up that night and I was like, what if I'm the next one?
No, that's a real fear.
And for the stress, when I was at NTC, I was driving a tank. I had 3 people in the tank with me. And I was the one that was like driving in a way that kept them safe. Yeah, my TC was telling me where to go and like left or right. But when it was night, we were in the middle of a desert. There was no light out there.
Yeah.
We had no light pollution.
Gosh, that's so weird to think about.
So it was completely dark. My TC couldn't see anything. All I had was my night vision screen in the driver's hole. So he was trying to help me, trying to guide me on where to go.
Right.
But he really couldn't. So it was up to me to be like, okay, that looks like a pothole over there. So I'm going to, instead of continuing straight and the right side of the tank fall into a hole, I got to turn left. Even when we did stop, we usually stopped for maybe 2.5 hours. And it wasn't even every night. It was when we could, when we didn't have to go out on a mission. I was usually getting 15, 30 minutes of sleep. And we were out there for a month. 15, 30 minutes of sleep at a time every day. By the end of the month, we all got back, and we couldn't shower out in the desert. There's no ways. We could bird bath, but
Yeah.
you had to kick everybody out of the tank, and you had baby wipes, and that was it.
Yeah.
We all get back. It's a bunch of grown men in tanks, and nothing smelled good. We all got back, and we sat there. There was our tent to the right and showers to the left, and we were like, that can wait till the morning, and we went to sleep.
Yeah, I bet.
Because we had nothing left. There wasn't even that thought of a shower would feel really good right now. It was just straight sleep.
Right. So yeah, that's a perfect example, I think, of being in a stressful environment or in a stressful, like, high alert situation where you're like, your brain is no sleep, like over hygiene, sleep over hygiene. Yeah, definitely. That's two really good stories that definitely highlight those two aspects. And I think that, what are some actionable items? What are some things that you've done to help yourself get better sleep when you can sleep? You just talked about you'd stop for maybe 20, 30 minutes. I'm sure that the biggest thing y'all did at that point was just out. I'm power napping right now. That's priority. Obviously, you have to water, hydrate, whatever. Yeah. Water, hydrate, but those power naps. But what are some other things that you do? Some helps, some aids, some assists, and not caffeine, because I know we all know that's a vice. Even I am guilty of a Red Bull here and there, but
I survive off Red Bull and Monster.
Yeah, not a healthy coping mechanism.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not recommended, but we all, every once in a while, you're like, I need that extra boost. I get it. I do. Like I said, I have a Red Bull and I drink coffee religiously every morning. I get it. I totally do. But outside of that, what are some other things that you've done? Do you have a set routine that you do? Like when you get home from work in the morning, is there like a routine that you follow? Take the dogs out, eat your dinner, clean the dishes. You have a routine that you do consistently, or is that not your thing?
So I don't necessarily have a routine. It's a good idea to get one, but I usually get home, take the dogs out, and then I may sit there for a couple minutes, 30 minutes, just scrolling through the phone. And everybody does it. I can't be blamed for this.
You can't be blamed for this.
I'm 23 in 2025. But
addicted to the scroll.
Yeah. And then I ended up just passing out. I don't have a routine. I know some people do, and I've been told that a routine is a really good way to get your body used to that, okay, I'm doing this now. That means sleep is coming soon. And I've heard people say, like, after they get a routine, they start the routine and they're automatically more tired, so that it's easier to go lay down and go to sleep.
That makes sense. So yeah, don't take his example. He does all the bad things. He drinks caffeine. He said even he could drink caffeine as he's falling asleep.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm not old yet, so I don't drink the coffee, but Red Bull, NOS, Monster, yeah.
You're not old yet. Wow. I don't know, maybe that's a thing. I know you drink coffee every once in a while, but like a frou-frou Starbucks drink, but I didn't really drink coffee at all until I got promoted to sergeant. I just didn't like it. I don't know what I thought it tasted like, but I definitely did not think that I liked it, so I didn't. And I think when I got put on night shift, I actually got promoted onto day shift, and I think 4 months later is when I went to nights, and my lieutenant at the time was like a religious coffee drink. And we're talking like military grade sludge coffee. And I'm like, exhausted. I'm so tired and so bored. Night shift back then wasn't like your night shift. We had nights where nothing happened. So I would literally watch the paint peel off the walls. I was that kind of bored. I got so bored. If you go on the drive, I got so bored, I literally took SOP and created PowerPoint slides with like videos and action so that when I did roll call, I could be like, yeah, I did this. But that's what ultimately forced me to try the coffee. And I'm like, this isn't bad. And I've been hooked ever since. I have a whole stinking coffee bar downstairs, espresso thing and all the above. I'm obsessed now, but I get it. Yeah. But yeah, don't take the lesson from him. Caffeine, blue light, death scrolling, or whatever we're calling it these days. But doom scrolling, there you go. Okay, what about supplements? Have you ever tried melatonin?
Yes, I have tried melatonin. When I was younger, I used to take melatonin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Just like on nights that, normally like the first night of school, I'm nervous and I don't want to go back. Can't sleep. Christmas night or Christmas Eve.
Yes.
I'm trying to catch Santa. I don't want to go to sleep.
Right. Take a Benadryl.
But the last time I took melatonin was on my flight back from Korea. And it was I think it was a 12-hour flight from Korea to Alaska, and then from another 8-hour flight from Alaska to El Paso.
Oh, wow. 8 hours?
Yeah.
What in the world?
It was ridiculous.
Were you flying a cargo plane?
Maybe it was 6 hours.
I guess maybe it is a longer, yeah.
I took melatonin in Korea, and I slept the whole 12 hours. We stopped in Alaska to refuel. We were probably on the ground for 2.5 hours. And I was just walking around the airport over there, and then hopped back on the plane to fly to El Paso. And the second I got back in my seat, it was still in my system. I went right back to sleep.
Yeah. So melatonin works for you.
Yeah.
Have you experienced, I know your brother, melatonin will work for him the first day, but if he takes it routinely, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it definitely, you build an immunity to
Right.
it. And that's why I stopped taking it when I was younger, because I realized it stopped helping.
Gotcha.
So I definitely recommend, if you do take melatonin and you notice it stop working or you can't go to sleep anymore, stop for a week or two and
Reset your system.
yeah.
What about, have you ever, and there's other sleep aids out there like Ambien. I can't take Ambien. That does some crazy stuff to me. Hallucinations are not fun, and I don't recommend Ambien. I think it's one of those things, if you have to sleep for some reason, maybe you're narcoleptic or something, I'm sure it works just fine, but for me, the first time I ever took Ambien, I think I was pregnant with you actually, and I was having a really hard time sleeping because I'm a little OCD, and I knew that my body was like in labor, but I was so early in labor that they were like, you don't need to be here just yet. I'm like, oh, I'm 18 years old. I don't understand what's happening, but I knew something wasn't right or something was changing, and it gave me anxiety because I couldn't control it. And the lack of control of my own body, that's where that OCD kicks in. But anyway, they gave me Ambien. And if you've never had Ambien, if you don't go to sleep, you will hallucinate.
I've heard people that take like Benadryl.
Yeah.
Like they do the same, try to stay awake after taking Benadryl.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Not good. So I don't take Ambien for that reason.
No, I've never taken it. I've taken Benadryl for allergies, but not for sleep.
Yeah. No, I know there's a lot of other sleep. People sometimes use Benadryl to go to sleep because it has that antihistamine that makes you fall asleep. And of course, like I said, Ambien. And there's a couple other of those like Ambien things out there, Lumify, I think, or something like that. But anyway, I think those are okay every once in a while. It's if your doctor prescribes it, obviously. But I feel like over time, that's probably just a problem. If you can't get yourself back into a pattern.
I definitely feel like it's relying on something that to make yourself go to sleep instead of your body allowing yourself to naturally fall asleep.
Yeah.
I don't do it. So
I don't even know that I would go to the doctor and be like, yeah, I can't sleep, give me something. I don't know. That's just like,
it would take, like, I'd have to be awake for 4 days straight.
Yeah.
And still not be able to go to sleep for me to be like, okay, I just need something.
Right.
So
you'd have, like, for me, I'd have to be like, all right, what do I need to do differently here? Cut out caffeine. I've had to do that before just to make sure it wasn't just me. But yeah, don't do that. Natural elements or natural alternatives. One of the things, I know we literally just talked about trauma tapping, but and I know that's not your thing, and it's not for everybody. There's other things you can do, meditation or something like that. White noise. Yeah. Remember when your brother was little and he has ADHD, kept him awake for hours? Oh my gosh. But
gremlin running down the hallways.
Yeah. But you remember, what was it called? Shannon gave it to Indigo Dreams. Those like affirmation.
Octopus and
bubble riding or bubble weaver or something like that. Affirmations, and I think they were some like self-guided meditation type stuff for like little kids.
Yeah.
But have you ever tried anything like that, or?
Not necessarily like affirmations and stuff like that, but I've tried it in the past, like stretching or working out. That quick boost of natural energy, and then that natural crash. That's some of the best sleep I've ever had.
Yeah, yeah. That adrenaline dump, or after you felt that high of oxytocin. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that adrenaline dump sleep, that's, yeah.
It's something different.
It really is.
That's show up to late work sleep.
Yeah, it really is. Oh my gosh, I know I set my alarm. You slept right through it. Yeah, no, for me, trauma tapping does work, but it only works. It doesn't, I have not yet felt the benefit necessarily from coping through memories of a traumatic situation, but it does work in a moment of high stress for me, or if I'm just so distracted by thinking about something else, or like I'm under stress or under pressure, or like just calming at night if I've had a very busy day or a very stressful day. It does work for me in that respect, where it just allows me to clear my mind in the moment. So I guess it does clear my mind in the moment. So if I am thinking about like a traumatic event that's happened in that respect, it's definitely helped me clear my mind. But I feel like there's more to it that I'm missing in respect to dealing with that aspect. But I talked about that in my last episode a little bit. But I would swear by it. I would tell everybody to try it. You did it. You took the class, right?
We did it in the academy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't work for me personally. I've heard of people like you. I've heard people say it works for them. It just, for me, it didn't help with anything.
Yeah, I get that for sure. Have you ever had a guided meditation or done one, listened to one?
So I've listened to them. I've never done it on my own, but just hearing people talk about it. We did when I was in the military and going to physical therapy. The working out aspect of physical therapy wasn't helping with my knees, so they sent me to a yoga/meditation class. And one day it was yoga, the next it was meditation.
Okay.
And they just swapped. So we've done that. I've done that before.
Okay.
I don't go out of my way to meditate.
Right, I
anything
got
like
you.
that. It was soothing. I don't know if it would help me go to sleep, but it could definitely clear your mind and just put you in that moment.
Yeah.
If what you need to go to sleep is just to be like, okay, this was going on earlier, that was going on yesterday, a week ago, a bird looked at me wrong. Try meditating.
Yeah.
Try yoga. It helps.
Yeah. I've done yoga before, once or twice. I like yoga. I don't know that it necessarily calmed me, but I think it was the environment, like the people I was with who were cutting up a little bit. But
don't go to goat yoga.
What is goat yoga?
You've never seen goat yoga?
No.
It's literally baby goats.
They're in the yoga class?
Yeah, they just jump up on it. Or puppy yoga.
I have never heard of this.
Yeah.
I want to do goat yoga. I've heard of hot yoga. I've heard of no, that's not a thing.
I don't even know what that. I've never heard of
It's another word. I don't know what it means. I don't know. I said the word wrong, I'm sure, but I want to do goat yoga.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome.
Little like
little miniature goats,
Yeah.
or like normal sized goats?
I mean, they're normal sized goats, but they're
Okay.
all babies,
Oh my gosh.
months old.
That's so cute.
You're doing yoga, and they just walk up your legs, up onto your back. Yeah.
Are they just like normal goats, or are they like therapy goats or something?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
That's so cool. I'm going to have to find goat yoga now. But no, I mean, I've done yoga, but like I said, it was the people I was with. Like I said, we were cutting up and whatever, but I have done guided meditation, and I'll be real, like I almost fell asleep. The theta waves in the music that they were choosing, and there's something, I don't know if you've ever heard like a singing bowl. Have you ever heard of it? It's like the crystal bowl, and it has like a thing, and you just, and it makes
I've
like,
seen it.
yeah, you'll have to look it up. I'll probably add a sound in the video when I post it, but something about that and those theta waves, like they just like, if I'm closing my eyes and like truly just emptying my mind, I will fall asleep. It works for me.
Something else that works is rain noise.
Oh yeah.
Like when it's pouring outside, thunderstorms,
Yeah.
just crack the window a little bit. Yeah. since the day I was born.
Yeah, actually, yes. What about reading? Reading is like one of those things I love to read, and I can never read because I will open a book and I always read in bed. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I need to have like specified daytime reading time, but I will get in the bed, I will open a book, about 2 paragraphs in, I'm out.
So reading works for me too, but for the opposite reason. I get bored and then
Fall asleep. Yeah, reading's never really been your thing though, right? No. Yeah. What about books on tape?
I tried it. I can't do it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Something about hearing the same monotone voice for 12 hours long.
No, I get that. Some people are better at reading, narrating than others, I think. I know the guy that does Forensic Files, he's passed away, but the guy that narrated Forensic Files, like the first, I don't know, 6 or 7 seasons or whatever, I fall asleep to that guy's voice any night.
Now, I will say, not completely different, but I don't expect anybody else to do it. Creepypastas.
Oh,
I will fall asleep to a creepypasta every single night if I could.
I think, and those are narrated by different people too, right?
I mainly listen to the one guy, but yeah,
Right.
there are different people that narrate them, yeah.
There's other YouTube channels that do something very similar that I subscribe to. And they're stories from other people that have submitted. So some of them are real stories, but others of them are closer to what they call a creepypasta. But it's just something about having either the quiet background or the like, I don't want to call it eerie because I think it only feels eerie because of the story. But that music
The like
and then just
soothing music that people
Yeah.
would like find creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I totally get that. Yeah. That's definitely something that helps me get into that. Okay, it's time to sleep. I have tried blackout curtains too. We had those.
I love blackout curtains.
Yeah. Yeah. And we actually, in our room right now, I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but the one window that faces the sun where it's tinted.
Okay.
We got some tint film. I put it on and I can't tell at any point in the day if it's like morning or evening because it always looks like evening time. Like not dark out, but like the sun is down.
Yeah.
When I was on night shift just this last go round, tinting that window and then having the blackout curtains definitely helped. Because it's that circadian rhythm. You see the light, you think, okay, it's daytime, time to be awake. It doesn't matter if you're night shift or what. So at night, just getting completely dark, or during the day, getting it completely dark definitely helps.
Yeah, and I
To fall asleep.
definitely I struggled with that for the first week or two that I was on night shift because the first thing that the military teaches you in basic is if the sun's up, you're up.
Yeah, I bet.
The transition from sleeping at night and then 6 a.m. the sun comes up and I'm awake
Yeah.
to okay, I just got off at 7:30. The sun's already up. I'm laying here in bed for the past 3 hours. I got to be at work in 9 more hours, but
Right.
I
Sleep
would,
is nowhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can't, I've definitely dealt with that. And oddly enough, this go round on night shift was a lot harder than my first go round. Now I'm older because you said we know the difference between 2017 and 2024 for me is significant. And I think that probably played into it a lot, but my first go round, I think it was maybe a week or so and I was good. This time it took me months and being sick all the time.
by the time
and
you got used to it, you were taking off.
Exactly. I'm grateful. But yeah. Okay. I think another good thing to think about is too, when you're up, your waking hours, when you're off, just, what is the word I'm looking for? Stay active. It's too easy, I think, you're like, okay, I'm off. I just want to relax. I don't want to do anything. So you sit back, play video games, watch TV, doom scroll, Amazon shopping. That's a big one. But
Staying up late.
yeah, you want to get back into your day routine. Definitely, be active. So like I said, for me today, I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning, just running around. I've got energy. I've done all the dishes. Like I've done everything I needed to do today. And here we are coming up on 5 o'clock and I'm still like wide awake. During the week, I get normal sleep. I get good sleep because I have to. I can't function without it. But sitting at my desk all day definitely makes me come home and I just feel tired.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything. But if I stay active, we've got the gym in there now in the downstairs. If I go in there and I punch the bag a little bit or I'm lifting some weights, then I can at least be functioning to make dinner and clean up after that and get into my bed routine. But, you know, definitely staying active on my off days helps me to.
And it helps if you have something that you enjoy to do. You enjoy going to the gym, or like for me and Violet, like Pokemon Go. We were at the park today from 10 to 2:30. So we were just walking around. So we spent hours walking around catching Pokemon.
Yeah.
If you have something that is active that you enjoy doing, it makes it 10 times easier.
Yeah.
Even if that is taking your dog to the dog park, meal prepping for the next week.
Yeah.
Doing something is better than sitting on the couch for me, this is my 3-day weekend. It's better than sitting on the couch for 3 days playing a game.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's definitely the draw that makes you want to do it, though, because you're like, I need to relax. It's my time off. I do.
I will say, don't deprive yourself of those things.
Yeah, no, of course not.
If you enjoy playing games, if it's your escape, do it. But also find something else that is an active escape.
Right.
So.
Yeah. He said
stay active, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. Stay active, find a routine, try not to rely too much on the unhealthy mechanisms. I think energy drinks and coffee is just going to happen. I think it's part of the lifestyle. If you are a first responder and you don't have a Red Bull at some point in your life, what are you doing? Just kidding.
No, there are definitely people that do it. And because I've personally relied on them for the past almost 5 years now, like I look at them and I'm like, this is like hour 3. How have you not had one yet? But I've thought about quitting.
Yeah.
It's just hard.
Yeah, I know. I've definitely cut back. I do love my coffee. Yeah. I could drink three venti 20-ounce coffees a day before. And I think I got to a point where I realized I wasn't really sleeping really well. And so I had to start cutting back on the caffeine. Like, where did I? So I went to, I'm not going to drink any more like Red Bulls, like energy drinks. I'll just stick with coffee. Because the caffeine levels are significantly different. Coffee, if I drink 8 ounces, I'm 90 grams or milligrams.
Yeah.
Red Bull, I think even in the small cans is
like 180.
Yeah, it's something like that. So I cut out energy drinks altogether and I only did coffee. And I think I narrowed myself down to 16, maybe 20 ounces in a whole day. And now I rotate my caffeine choices. So I'll either do coffee or I'll do an energy drink. But I've definitely cut back significantly.
I've noticed the cut back, like when I was in the military. You're going to get mad.
I probably am.
When I was in Korea, the big 24-ounce Red Bulls, I'd drink 3 or 4 of them a day.
Oh my gosh. That's got to be close to 600 or 800 milligrams of caffeine.
Too much.
Yeah, that's like heart.
Now, I'll bring 2 energy drinks with me tonight to work. And I'll drink the first one a couple hours in. And if I need the second one, I'll drink it. But for the most part, I only drink the one. And then I'm good for the night. But I definitely drink one night.
Yeah. I think it's probably partially my age at this point, and then partially just a sensitivity, I think, that I've probably always have, and just, again, that plays into that OCD anxiety thing. Like, I don't know if I'm actually experiencing anxiety or if I'm experiencing a caffeine high right now. It is what it is. But yeah, so I guess we've talked about some mechanisms to help, get good sleep, and talked about some things that we do that we shouldn't do, and some other things, some quick facts, interesting little tidbits. But you have anything else to add on that? Any stories or?
If you haven't touched a Red Bull, don't touch them. Stories. I actually, when I was in the military, I actually enjoyed my 24-hour shifts, they were easier than my regular shift. Work day. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Because I knew that, like, after this 24-hour shift, I could go home, take care of the few things that I needed to take care of, and then sleep. And I didn't have to worry about anything that next day.
Because you had the whole day off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Until, if I worked staff duty, say I had staff duty Monday.
Right.
So from 9 a.m. Tuesday
Right.
until 6:30 on Wednesday,
You're good to go.
Yeah.
You could sleep and then do your normal day and gotcha.
And then I had to be at PT at 6:30 on Wednesday.
Right.
So I had that almost 24 hours to just woosah.
Right.
And then sleep, get back on schedule, and then continue.
Whereas like right now, you pull 12, 13-hour shifts essentially by the time you get home and everything. And you only have, I guess you technically have the 12 hours, but still.
But it takes me 20 minutes to get home.
Yeah.
Then I have probably an hour and a half stuff to do when I get home. And then, like I said, I get my 5 hours of sleep. I'm awake by 3 every day. So on average, I'm asleep by 9:30, 10 o'clock. Wake up at 3, and then I shower, get ready, you know.
So you just found that having the 24-hour off time was more helpful than having like your 8 hours versus 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I guess that kind of makes sense.
And I've never
because it wasn't like
I've never worked a 9 to 5, so I don't know what that's. So.
Right. Or at least not a regular one.
Yeah.
I mean, you worked 8-hour shifts, like high school jobs, whatever. Yeah.
I was getting off school, going to work, and
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Working a 9 to 5 right now, for me, I think that the issue for me with sleep is that, like, from 5 when I get home until 9:30 when I'm getting ready to go to bed, that time goes by so fast.
Yeah.
If I sit down at all and start scrolling, it's like, whoa. Like that time just
wasted
zapped. Yeah, so I literally have to come home, change my clothes, shower if I need to, and then go straight into making dinner or cleaning or getting on a project that I'm trying to get done or whatever. Otherwise, that time is gone. And heaven forbid I lay down and fall asleep because I'm either out for the night and I wake up at 3 a.m. or I wake up when your dad gets home, which is usually around like 7, and then I can't go back to sleep until hours later. Yeah, messing up that routine definitely gets to me. But yeah, I'm very like, I have to have a routine. If I get out of that, I struggle for sure. But thanks, Logan, for chatting with me today, and thank you guys for staying tuned this whole time, just listening to us a little chit chat about sleep. If you have a sleep hack that works for you, or you're on shift work, or you're in the military, let us know. Shoot me an email, send it in the comments. We'll bring it up on our next episode. If you know someone that needs help with sleep, maybe share this video. Maybe some of our ideas or some of these other aids and things can help them or help you. But we appreciate you tuning in. Thanks, Logan, again.
Yeah.
Alright, that's a wrap on today's episode. Sleep and shift work don't exactly go hand in hand, but hopefully you picked up a few tips to make those power naps count and avoid the dreaded 3 a.m. caffeine crash. Now, if you think sleep deprivation is rough, imagine what it's like for the families dealing with us when we're overworked, overtired, and emotionally drained. Next episode, I'm bringing in 2 special guests to talk about what it's really like being family to a first responder. It's not all hero stories and happy homecomings. Make sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. And in the meantime, go grab some sleep, or at least a decaf. Stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.